Imagine a city that stretches 170 kilometers across the desert, longer than the distance from New York to Philadelphia, a mirror-clad megastructure rising 500 meters into the sky, housing 9 million people in a car-free, zero-carbon environment. This isn't science fiction. This is The Line, Saudi Arabia's most audacious project and perhaps the most controversial mega build of our time. But here's what makes this story fascinating. While the world debates whether it's visionary genius or colossal folly, construction crews are already moving millions of cubic meters of earth every single week in the Saudi desert. The question isn't whether the line is ambitious, it's whether human engineering can actually pull off something this unprecedented. To understand the line, you need to grasp just how radically it breaks every rule of urban planning. Traditional cities grow organically, spreading outward in circles or along rivers. The line does the opposite. It's a perfectly straight line cutting through 170 kilometers of desert landscape. The numbers are staggering. At 500 meters tall, it would dwarf most skyscrapers. At 200 meters wide, it's broader than 2 football fields. But here's where it gets truly mind-bending. Despite housing 9 million people, the line would occupy just 34 square kilometers, smaller than the island of Manhattan, while preserving 95% of the surrounding land for nature. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman unveiled this vision in 2021 as part of NEOM, a $1.5 trillion smart city project in Saudi Arabia's Tabuk province. The concept is revolutionary. Residents would live in climate-controlled environments with 5-minute walkability to all amenities, while a high-speed rail spine would transport people from end to end in just 20 minutes. But why build something so radically different? Saudi Arabia faces an existential challenge. With oil revenues eventually declining, the kingdom needs to diversify its economy and attract global talent. The line represents their answer, a showcase of what's possible when unlimited resources meet unlimited ambition. The design itself reads like a utopian manifesto: no cars, no pollution, no urban sprawl. Instead, residents would enjoy perfect climate control, immediate access to nature, and AI systems that predict their needs before they even realize them. It's powered entirely by renewable energy, with desalinated water and vertical farms providing complete sustainability. So how do you actually build something like The Line? The engineering challenges are unlike anything attempted in human history. First, there's the foundation. Supporting a 500-meter tall structure across 170 kilometers of desert requires unprecedented geotechnical engineering. The construction teams are currently driving up to 120 foundation piles per week into the desert floor, each one designed to anchor sections of what will become the world's longest building. The scale of earthworks is mind-boggling. Every week, crews move millions of cubic meters of earth, enough to fill the Empire State Building multiple times over. They're not just building on the desert, they're reshaping it entirely. Over 5,500 foundation piles have already been installed in early modules, each one a critical anchor point for the megastructure above. Then there's the mirror facade. The line's exterior will be covered in reflective surfaces designed to blend with the desert and mountains, but engineering mirrors to withstand sandstorms, extreme temperatures, and seismic activity across 170 kilometers. That's a materials science challenge that pushes the boundaries of what's possible. The internal systems are equally complex. The line isn't just a building, it's a vertical ecosystem. The central canyon design allows natural light and ventilation to penetrate deep into the structure, while modular construction from pre-engineered factory parts enables rapid assembly. Think of it as building with massive Lego blocks, each one containing apartments, offices, or community spaces. But perhaps the most impressive feat is the transportation spine. A high-speed rail system running the entire length would need to maintain consistent speeds while navigating the natural terrain variations. The engineering tolerances are so precise that a few centimeters of deviation could affect the entire system. What's remarkable is that much of this technology doesn't exist yet. The line is essentially betting that human ingenuity can solve problems that haven't been solved before. It's like the Apollo program, but for urban planning. Here's where the story gets complicated. While the vision is extraordinary, the reality on the ground tells a different tale. As of October 2025, construction is focused on a much smaller section, just 2.4 kilometers of the planned 170-kilometer length. Satellite images show extensive excavation and concrete work, but it's concentrated in what's called Module 45, with neighboring sections showing significant delays. The timeline has already shifted dramatically. Originally planned for completion by 2030, NEOM officials now frame the line as a 100-year project, with full completion pushed to 2025 and initial phases targeting around 300,000 residents by 2030. That's not a delay, that's a fundamental reimagining of the entire timeline. Cost overruns are substantial. While exact figures remain classified, reports suggest spending has already exceeded $100 billion, with total costs for NEOM potentially reaching $1.5 trillion or more. The original $500 billion budget for all of NEOM now seems wildly optimistic for the line alone. In July 2025, Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund hired external consultants to review the project's feasibility, a move that raised eyebrows among industry observers and which continues amid ongoing strategic assessments. When you're already deep into construction and still conducting feasibility studies, it suggests the challenges are more complex than initially anticipated. Moody's rating agency described progress as uneven in October 2025, citing engineering complexities from the project's unprecedented scale. The challenges aren't just technical, they're logistical, environmental, and social. There are also human costs. The project has displaced local communities, and international human rights organizations have raised concerns about labor conditions and land rights. Building utopia, it seems, comes with very real human consequences. Despite the challenges, the engineering work happening in the Saudi desert is genuinely impressive. Let's look at what's actually being built. The foundation work alone represents a masterclass in desert construction. Engineers are dealing with shifting sands, extreme temperature variations, and the need to create stable platforms for structures that will rise half a kilometer into the sky. Each foundation pile must be precisely positioned and engineered to handle not just vertical loads, but the lateral forces from desert winds. The modular construction approach is particularly clever. Rather than building the line as one continuous structure, it's being assembled from prefabricated modules. This allows for quality control in factory settings and faster on-site assembly. It's like building a massive horizontal skyscraper, one piece at a time. The environmental engineering is equally sophisticated. The line must create its own microclimate, managing temperature, humidity, and air quality for millions of residents. The central canyon design isn't just aesthetic, it's a crucial part of the ventilation system, allowing natural airflow while maintaining climate control. Water management presents another fascinating challenge. The line will require massive amounts of desalinated water, not just for drinking, but for cooling systems, vertical farms, and maintaining the artificial ecosystem. The engineering systems must be redundant and resilient, because failure isn't an option when you're supporting 9 million people in the desert. The transportation spine represents perhaps the most complex engineering challenge. High-speed rail through a building requires precision that makes traditional railway engineering look simple. The tracks must be perfectly aligned, the stations integrated seamlessly into the structure, and the entire system capable of operating in the unique environment of the line's interior. What's remarkable is how these systems must work together. The line isn't just a building with transportation, it's an integrated urban ecosystem where every system depends on every other system. The engineering complexity is exponential, not additive. The line represents more than just an ambitious construction project. It's a window into how nations are reimagining their futures in an era of climate change and technological transformation. Saudi Arabia isn't alone in pursuing megaprojects. China has built entire cities from scratch. Dubai has created artificial islands, and countries worldwide are investing in smart city technologies. But the line is different in its sheer audacity and its rejection of conventional urban planning. The project raises fundamental questions about how we should live. Is the future of human habitation in massive, controlled environments like the line? Or are we better served by improving existing cities and working with natural systems rather than replacing them? From an engineering perspective, the line is pushing boundaries that will benefit projects worldwide. The materials science, construction techniques, and urban systems being developed will likely find applications far beyond Saudi Arabia. Even if the line never reaches its full 170-kilometer vision, the innovations it's generating could transform how we build cities. The environmental implications are complex. While the line promises zero carbon emissions and minimal land use, the construction process itself has a massive carbon footprint. The question is whether the long-term benefits justify the short-term environmental costs. There's also the economic dimension. The line is essentially Saudi Arabia's bet that they can create a new economic model based on innovation and sustainability rather than oil exports. If successful, it could provide a template for other resource-dependent nations facing similar transitions. So what's the verdict on the line? The honest answer is that we're watching history unfold in real time and the outcome remains genuinely uncertain. The engineering challenges are real and unprecedented. Moving from a 2.4-kilometer demonstration section to a 170-kilometer megacity will require solving problems that haven't been solved before. The timeline has already stretched from years to decades to potentially a century. But here's what's undeniable. The work happening in the Saudi desert right now is pushing the boundaries of human engineering. Whether the line succeeds or fails, it's advancing our understanding of large-scale construction, urban systems, and sustainable design. The project embodies both the promise and the peril of mega-scale engineering. It shows what's possible when resources and ambition align, but also reveals the complexity of translating vision into reality. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect is that the line forces us to question our assumptions about cities, sustainability, and human habitation. Even if the full vision never materializes, it's already changed how we think about urban planning and what's possible in the 21st century. The construction continues, the challenges mount, and the world watches. The line may be the future of human habitation, or it may be a cautionary tale about the limits of ambition. It could represent the kind of bold innovation we need to solve 21st century challenges, or it might demonstrate that some visions are simply too ambitious to realize. History will be the judge. What's certain is that the line is one of the most fascinating engineering stories of our time, and we're only seeing the beginning. Whether it succeeds spectacularly, fails dramatically, or lands somewhere in between, it will teach us invaluable lessons about the possibilities and limits of human ambition. What do you think? Is the line visionary genius or colossal folly? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the world's most ambitious mega projects, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the engineering projects shaping our future. Thanks for watching.